How you doing, Jason?
Good, Jacko. How about yourself?
Everything good, thank you. How's the weather?
Weather's awesome, buddy. For November, we're doing all right.
That's good. How's your local team doing?
Well, I mean they're running just above 500, so they're doing okay. They're not playing as good as I would have expected, but they got 13 kids from out of province, so it's kind of disheartening this year. So
I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the big club.
oh yeah, let's not. That's salty, Jacko. That's a team, the Edmonton Oilers. That's my hockey club, and they're not doing so well this year. So they're just not committed to team defense. Just not playing the game the right way. Not focusing on the little details, which is quite common these days with how we raise the kids to be individual players and not be responsible players.
Yeah, I see the same thing. I watched a couple of highlights and just couldn't believe it. Doesn't look good at all.
No, it's not a good thing.
No.
Definitely not a good thing. No, they're struggling, and they have some great hockey players, great talent there. Just that club's not the LA Kings built to win.
No, it takes more than one guy to have a winning team for sure. Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Because if it was up to one guy, he probably would.
Yeah. So where would you pinpoint the problem? I mean,
you know what? Obviously, their back end is atrocious. Like they've got Ekholm. That's pretty much. I know Bouchard's an up and comer. I don't see the future in him. I don't. He's kind of like a Justin Schultz to me that the Oilers had before. There's an upside to him, but there's just he's not an Erik Karlsson. You know, he's definitely not a Cale Makar. You know, those kind of guys can get away with being poor in the D zone.
yeah.
Because they're just so offensively gifted that they might give up one, but they're going to score 6, so that works, right? So it's just kind of one of those things where their back end is so poor, their goaltending is not good whatsoever, and I don't know what. Maybe their goaltenders are good. I don't know. When your back end's that poor and you're giving up so many quality shots.
Yeah.
How do you really see what the goaltender can do?
Yeah, I see a lot of stretch passes being made against them where they're getting a lot of odd man rushes, and that is what I think is hurting them. They're not able to stop those stretch passes from happening. That's what I've seen a lot of that.
But again, it's to me that just comes down to defending your head on a swivel and doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
Like they're bad.
Yeah.
They're just bad.
They need a good goalie for sure. They got to start with having a really good goalie. Probably you got to find the best one in the league, and you might have to trade for him. But at least you get in the right track.
Yeah. That's a good start. I know I was watching something on TSN or whatever it was, and they were saying how teams are now underpaying the goaltenders and spending more money in front of them. And I'm like, man, I don't know about that. I don't know if that'd be my strategy. I think I'm not going to say it's going to be my highest paid goaltender or my highest paid player, but that is an absolute key position. You can't just put me or you in net and expect to win a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. If they wanted to pay me the money that they pay those guys, I would absolutely take it and do my best. But I'll tell you right now, I don't know if I'd be above 500 in save percentage.
You might if you got Mr. Miyagi's training. If you got my dad's training here.
That would be different.
Yeah. And you know how to skate, so you're okay.
I might be fine, but I was never keen on blocking shots, Jacko. So
here's something out of the box. Why don't we just go to Japan, recruit one of those sumo wrestlers, teach him how to skate a little, just put him in the net. I mean, that's as simple as that. You put him on his knees. 6'4" sumo guy. Just sit him on his knees, block shots all day.
But why couldn't you?
I don't know why they don't. Why don't they try? I don't know why they don't.
What What if you get the 500-pound sumo guy that just fills the net and he just
Yeah,
sits there?
that's what I'm talking about. He doesn't need to skate. He could go on his knees. Who cares about playing the puck?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't. Yeah. No, they're afraid to think outside the box. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
I would
You know what,
definitely give it a
honestly,
try.
like, if the guy fills the net, they can't score. So there's no size limit in the NHL.
No.
Why not go get that guy? You know, they look for
I
that
would.
6'7" goaltender that can move, and it's like, okay, well, why not find the 6'7", 500-pound sumo guy that just fills the net?
There's a lot of them that are over like 6'3", 6'4". I mean, Ben Bishop's 6'7". I don't know if he's done too much in the NHL. I mean, he's a big guy. 6'7".
He used to be a hell of a goaltender in the NHL.
But he covered the high corners, you know, with his shoulders, but he did not. He's not wide.
Yeah, but no, well, he was probably 200 pounds. Well, let's throw another 300 on him.
Yeah.
He fills that whole net.
He just sits there on his knees and just blocks shots because they're on their knees anyways. They drop early and everything.
You might have to have a box of Tim Hortons donuts on the back of the net instead of a water bottle. Right? Snack during the game, but you know, either way.
I mean, they have to find custom gear for them. The chest protectors aren't going to fit that easy. They're going to have to get extra jerseys, maybe like a size 70 jersey.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But I think really go with that. Try it. I'd like to see someone take the guts to go out and find someone from Japan, teach them how to skate a little bit, and put them in the net. Cover the net.
Why not try it?
I don't see why it would hurt. Put him in an exhibition game and try it. Yeah.
Well, no, they got the NHL is, you know, most of the teams. I think all of them, maybe, but they all have their American League team, and then they all have their East Coast League team.
Yeah.
So why not go with your, you know, put him down in the East Coast League and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I think he'll cover a lot. You just come out just a tiny bit, be enough where you can reach back on the posts, and that's all. You just stay there and.
Honestly, Jacko, I think he'd fill the net.
He would. I mean, they're big. Yeah,
You put the gear on him.
Yeah. Leg pads are going to be all the same, but
you got a 300-pound guy with gear on, like proper fitting gear. I bet you he fills that whole net.
He's going to look bigger even with the gear on.
Oh, he's gonna look like a monster.
Well, look at those players that are about $180, $185. When you put them in gear, they look like they're 230.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine this guy.
You look at who's the goaltender? Bennington.
Yeah, Bennington.
From St. Louis. You see him off the ice? Man, he's 120 pounds soaking wet, but he looks like he's 200 pounds.
I just saw him last
week.
week.
300 guy.
Yeah.
You put a 300-pound guy in there, man, he's gonna cover the whole net.
You mean 450 to 500 pounds? You mean?
Yeah, 500-pound guy in there. He's covering the whole net. There's no way he doesn't.
I'd like to see like, I've never seen a 500-pound person, but is how much width do they cover? Because the net's 6 feet, and if they come out just a little bit, like a couple of feet out of the net, not even on top of their crease, they're going to cover probably. There's not going to be very much opening to shoot.
Jacko, I think they could go into the butterfly on the goal line.
Yeah.
And they would cover everything.
Yeah. A lot of guys are already dropping early, like Jonathan Quick. He's on his knees playing goal. So why not leave the guy on his knees?
That's the way they're trained.
Yeah.
That's the way they're trained. And you know where that all started was because, you know, everybody always said, shoot it off the ice, 6 inches. That's where you shoot, just above the pad. So then the goaltending coaches started saying, okay, well, everybody's training to shoot. Right now, you know, obviously, you know, keeping like the respect factor. If you got one of your guys in front of the net, you're not going to rip it under the bar. But right now, every shot I would take would be under the bar.
They're all shooting high now. All those guys. All those kids are shooting high.
No, they're just shooting, and it goes where it goes, Jack, because they have no control.
Everybody wants bar down nowadays. It's got to make that sound, you know, that metal.
They don't even know where they're shooting, Jack.
Hey, it's got to go bar down. It's got to be bar down. You know how it is, right, Jason?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh I know, I hear that all the time. But
Yeah.
it's like, and I laugh, and which is fine. I mean, I was always a top glove guy,
Yeah.
but and still to this day am when I play men's league hockey. The 3 times I do it in the Gordie Howe Pro-Am tournament, but it's I don't agree with everything that they're doing these days, but I mean, the one thing I do agree with is if you're going to shoot high, because all the goaltenders are trained to go down.
They drop early.
They drop early.
Yeah.
As soon as they think you're shooting there, you look, the play's in the corner and the goalie's on his knees. He's
Yeah,
not even
that's what I
standing.
mean. I mean, then you just put a sumo guy in there. Why not?
Why wouldn't you?
Kings, years ago, like maybe 15 years ago, the Kings drafted a guy from Japan, a goalie. And I could have said,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? I was thinking, I hope it's a sumo guy. It ended up being like a 5'8" guy, little 150-pound guy. It was like not a big guy. I don't think he was big, but he was drafted from Japan to play.
Well, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Draft a 5'8", 150-pound player that doesn't know how to play.
No, he's a
You're
goalie. That was a goalie, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like you're a goalie, and we all know if you're a goalie, like nowadays, if you're 6 feet, you're small.
Yeah, they want big.
They want big. It just covers net. So this
Yeah.
is what we're saying. They're saying the bigger guy covers net, so he gets away with a little more errors than the athletic 6-foot tall goaltender.
Yeah.
Well, we're saying, go get a sumo wrestler at 6'8" and 500 pounds.
Yeah. Little
Doesn't have to be
get him
athletic.
wide. Don't just get him tall. Get him
Yeah.
wide too, because the net's wider than
Yeah.
taller.
Well, I'm pretty sure at 500 pounds, he's not going to be slim.
I mean, they're in shape too. Those sumo guys. I mean, they fight pretty good. I mean, they're moving and they're in shape. Like they're not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they can move.
They're just big boys.
Yeah, they eat a lot.
Well, you can't be that size without eating.
Well, so there was a message on one of the pages talking about if they needed. Have you heard of skate weights? So they want skate weights for their kids to make them faster.
Oh
And
yeah.
I wrote, I don't recommend it. They want to know why. And I was like, and you've heard of those gimmick stuff out there. There's so many things out there.
It's not a. I mean, okay, it's not something I would ever recommend.
No.
It's gonna. The only thing that skate weight's gonna build is your hip flexor, but it's gonna cause the potential for tearing and obviously it's gonna shorten your stride because if you actually need a skate weight, you can train all that stuff in the gym, right? Like your whole body is supposed to be trained in the gym, and when you're skating, you're training skating.
Yeah.
Not in the gym. So just go to the gym if you want to train your muscles. Don't do that because if you're skating with
But we're talking for little kids, Jason. We're talking for like 7-year-old.
Oh, Jacko, little no.
I know.
Your tearing hip flexor, you could pull a groin, or your groin's going to get too tight, so your hips are going to pull in. You won't be able to open your hips up to skate. Oh, that's just ridiculous.
There's so many gimmicks
ridiculous.
there. There's so many people selling all kinds of gadgets and stuff for hockey, and the basic way is the best way. They just go and practice and train on your skating.
Train the right way with the right trainer, and you're 10 times better off.
Everybody wants it easy. Everybody wants it easy. They want it to be.
These gimmicks don't make it easy, Jack.
Well, they want it quick improvement.
Gimmicks
Nobody
hurt
wants to
you.
put the work in, though. Everybody wants a quick improvement.
When have you ever seen a quick improvement?
Never.
If you're not good in math, do you think you're going to wake up tomorrow and have a quick improvement? It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You have to put the work in to learn math. It's no different than skating. It's no different than hockey. It's no different than anything in life. It's a lifelong process to get to where you need to get to. And all this little stuff that people are making money on, and good on them for making their money and having that many stupid people in life that are buying it. But you don't do that. Just train the right way.
Yeah. They have this things because I have a lot of students come in. They tell me what there's out there. They have like a super deker. I think it has a light or something, and you try to stick handle. And then there's like a different. One person brought me one of those things. It's like has the legs and a stick in front, And they're like, this would be good for your place.
Yeah.
And so I said, listen, you could take that back home because I'm going to throw it in the trash. They didn't believe me,
Yeah.
but I actually dumped it in the trash. I was like, I don't use gimmicks.
Yeah, I mean that's the PEP is what it's called.
Which one's
I'm not a
called the
big
PEP?
believer in it.
Which one's called that?
I don't know.
Oh, it's the
That's where it's like what you were just describing.
Yeah, the
It's where it's
plastic
got
thing.
The plastic thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not a believer in that because all that does is teach you to keep your head down.
Yeah. And when have you ever seen it?
Well, I mean, I guess in today's day and age, you're allowed to keep your head down because you can't get hit. But that's another topic. But, like, there's a purpose for it. I can see it. But, I mean, if you really have to be taught, like, to poke a puck to a hole, are you a hockey player?
Well, no.
Like, if I got to teach you to poke it there, like, the guy's stick is out here and I'm going to go around him, but I can't get there, but I can just go under his stick. Shouldn't you just recognize that as a hockey player?
Yeah.
To me, that's called hockey IQ.
And how many defensemen have you seen stand still like that?
Well, on the Edmonton Oilers, I see 6 sometimes they dress 7. But, yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's no movement. It's not reality. And I know McDavid, he promotes that
Oh, he does? He does?
He's putting he's Connor Bedard. They got all the big names.
But I wonder if they pay him money to use it, or they just, hey, can you try this? And they just quickly shoot a video.
No, they pay them. It's like a Gatorade sponsorship.
Uh-huh.
You think Connor McDavid crushes Gatorade 24 hours a day? No. It's a sponsorship to advertise to people that don't know any better. And, yeah, does he go and do a pep camp? Absolutely he does a pep camp.
Yeah.
But he goes there and he does the whole stick handle thing, and they film him a little bit, and it's like, hey, Pep, 2 thumbs up, buds. Right on, right?
Yeah.
It's like going back in the 80s and Clint Eastwood smoking a dart, and it's like, yeah, I like Marlboros, right? So everybody smokes Marlboros because they want to be Clint Eastwood, right? Like, This is what advertising does, is they make you think that you want to be cool like Clint Eastwood, you want to be as good as McDavid, you want to be, this is what I got to do. But the reality of the beast is, that's not what they do on a day-to-day basis.
No. But they fool the people. And kids will emulate what they see in the warm-ups. They do a lot of stuff in the warm-ups. They think that's a training, Sometimes you see them handling the puck and doing, tricks and stuff, and the people think that's training,
No, they're just warming their hands up is all they're doing. And yes, it's obviously good to work on those things and on your own time, not on training time. Like go to stick time or go to whatever. And if you want to work on stupid stuff that doesn't work in a game, do that because it does give you better hands. So it's fine. Like it just gets your hands moving and rotating and getting them outside your body. Right? I always teach that. Like get your hands outside your body. Like get them away from your body. Right, when you're stick handling, get them away from your body, get movement, So it's one of those things that they're screwing around with the puck, but they're just getting ready. That's their routine. They're not going to do that in the game.
No. So, but the kids, they don't know, or the parents that don't know hockey, they just get into it like, oh yeah, this is what he's doing. This must work. And same thing with this.
They get some YouTube star that's willing that does all kinds of flipping pucks and whatever, and it's like, I want my kid to do that. And it's like, this ain't the circus, man.
And when do you use that in the game?
You don't use it in the game. Yeah. You don't. And I'm waiting. Jack, I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you within the next 10 years, there's going to be another WHA started. There's going to be another league.
You're talking like old-time hockey, original hockey.
Yeah, I think they're going to – I think there's enough. They turn this into such a circus act right now. I think there's going to be a group of investors, mark my word, that come out and they're going to put together real hockey teams.
What about getting the commissioner maybe leaving? Maybe to vote him
It's
out.
not going to change. It won't change.
No.
They won't.
Yeah.
I mean, if he changes, whoever steps in there is just gonna. They're just making money. Is all they're doing.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing. But I'm telling you right now that there's going to be a competitive league that's going to start. I promise.
It could start in Europe too. I mean, they have enough teams in Europe to compete with the NHL. There's some really good teams over there.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going to start. I don't think their game is the way I like it, but they're talented. I'll tell you that right now. But I think in North America, I believe within the next 10 years, mark my words, there's going to be a league that's going to be another NHL, and they're going to have to fucking compete with them. I guarantee it.
You think so?
They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it because the way our game is going, like, people don't like it.
No.
Look at the fans. Look at the fan base. In all it, like, if Boston and Toronto, Boston and Montreal, if you look at the teams that can play, a Calgary, Edmonton, when those teams were reasonable, they loved it because it was just head-to-head combat.
You mean rivalry? Rivalry's gone.
Well, the rivalry's gone because it doesn't exist. But if you look at the game that everybody wanted to watch and everybody wanted to play, every hockey player wanted to play that. Those high-intensity games.
Yeah.
Everyone, you can't tell me, Jack, when you played, when you knew this game was going to be amped up and it was going to be that fight or flight mentality. We're going. Those
everybody
are the
wanted
best
that.
Games playing.
Yeah.
And that's where we're lacking in the NHL right now. We're basically paying players to make millions of dollars to play a shitty game.
Yeah,
and we
there's
go watch
no war.
It.
It's not a war anymore.
It's not a war.
No.
There's no. I'd bring back Don Cherry. Whatever league starts and whatever they call it, bring back Don Cherry. Or Kevin Bieksa.
Yeah.
Or Kevin Bieksa. He'd be a great replacement to Don Cherry.
Yeah. You know what I was going to tell you? So the last great Stanley Cup Finals was 1994. After that, it hasn't been the same. 1994. If you got anybody out there wants to watch, you could probably find it on YouTube. Rangers and Canucks. That was probably the best Stanley Cup Finals. The last best one.
That was Mark Messier.
Yeah, but you should see the intensity. Yeah. It was a war. I mean, they were fighting hard. It was good hockey, and you just don't see that anymore. It's just not the same.
Yeah,
it's a different rules too.
I would say there's been some. There's been others that have been good, but it's that one there definitely. That would take the cake for me. Well, it's Mark Messier, so that would,
But it was a lot of other talented guys. Bure was there. There was.
But you look at the 2000s, early 2000s, when Detroit was running the table.
Yeah.
They played like Lindstrom, Yzerman. I don't remember what it was, but Yzerman in overtime comes across the blue line, rips the clapper top corner, blocker side. I think it was.
It was against St. Louis.
Those guys were laying it on the line. It kind of, it was kind of probably 2010 is where it shifted for me.
Yeah.
And it was like it just started going down from 2000. Probably right around that area. It just depleted in intensity. Where these guys there's not guys banged up anymore.
No.
In playoffs.
No. It's very different. There's hardly any body checking now. It's more like rub out, like they don't really hit.
Well, I think they're trying to transition the game. In all honesty, Jacko, I think they're trying to transition the game to be more like the female game.
Yeah.
And you're going to see more and more female hockey players get tryouts in the NHL. And not that I'm against it. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. By no means. But They're going to try and transition it to be a multi-gender league.
Speaking of women's hockey,
It's gonna happen.
yeah, could I don't I could see anything's possible. So speaking of women's hockey, they're trying to get it bigger, right?
Good on them. It should be bigger.
No, but the problem is all the women that are the former players, they're all working for the NHL. So if you're trying to get your sport bigger, you need to focus on the women's NHL and bring that together. They need to meet together and try to make the league go. But all these ladies, they're all working as general managers, scouts for NHL teams. So it's not, and they're not getting the funding they need from the NHL clubs. They should have like an affiliate where they're getting paid through the NHL clubs. Maybe have 12 or 18 teams.
Why should they? No, why should
if they want to make a pro league, at least to get it started.
But Jacko, you look at you're saying give them a gift.
Well, if they're going to play pro hockey, they should get paid. But what I'm saying is the women that are
100% they should.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the NHL built their name. So if you look back, we got to remember that the NHL started back, and these guys were making scratch to play hockey.
Yeah.
This is where our women's game's at. They've accelerated actually pretty good right now, which I'm super proud of. But they got to remember that the league's got to remember that you got to work. All of the players have to work together to promote the game and get the game to where it needs to go before you end up in the NHL. Look at the WNBA.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They didn't rely on the NBA. They built their own market. They built their own. They did their own, and I'm not going to say they're the same pay status and that kind of stuff, but they're still, those girls are making great money, and I love it, man. I promote female sports, but we're just going through a time right now where we got to understand that there's going to be a grind that has to happen.
But they're not there. Those females that are in the Hockey Hall of Fame, all those ladies are all working for the NHL. I mean, they're not even putting any effort for their women's hockey. It looks like they don't care.
Well, they don't, Jack. It's like
But then they're complaining the women's hockey's not getting bigger. Well, why are you an assistant general manager in the NHL? You could be helping out your women's hockey league getting it started instead of being a general manager in the NHL or a scout in the NHL. Well, we got a lot of guys that can do that.
But let's be honest. Why are they there? They're there for a showcase, right?
Yeah.
It's just, it's don't get me wrong. If they're good, they're good. Man, it don't matter what gender you are. I don't give a shit. But I don't care. But let's be realistic. They're just doing this right now for a publicity stunt.
Pretty much. Every team's got them. So it must be something.
Every team's got them. And it's like, don't get me wrong. If they're good and they can do the job, well, what difference does it matter who you are? I don't care, right? But, right now it's just like, they're just doing this. I don't know. We live in a different world right now. Maybe I'm a little more old school, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if it's going to ever take off because they tried already the NWHL and didn't take off, and now they're doing another league. We'll see. No,
it did actually. They were, it did. They were up to I think it was $1.5 million. I follow this kind of stuff. $1.5 million minimum salary for, I think it was like 21 players.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out on average. I think it worked out to be about $75,000 per player, which is, a top-end American League salary.
It's better than what the East Coast League players make.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they can't complain.
So they were getting paid like, reasonable money. Like it was good money to go and play 6 months to do your job, do your thing, and it was awesome. And they were growing, and then obviously this all happened in the league. There was another league, and I don't remember what they called it, but
CWHL.
No, PWHL
No,
amalgamated their
CWHL is another league. Yeah, there's two leagues.
No. I'm saying the PWHL was the one that had just this year. They implemented a $1.5 million minimum cap, but then they there was another women's league that they amalgamated with, and then it's all a mess right now. So then there was a draft, and that it's not a mess. Sorry, it's messy, but I mean they're figuring out how to create a league, and good on them. I promote all women's sports, and I think it's awesome, and I think there's going to be a huge growth in women's hockey, and I think it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. We should have them, those players that are playing, they shouldn't be going out and doing exactly what we do as men and not getting something out of it.
They should get paid. They should get paid, definitely.
They should get paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
They should get paid.
Yeah.
And that's where we've been faulting. Well, it's not faulting. It's just growing the game. So, you can't just give people money to do nothing. But they're getting to a point. Their talent level is there. The entertainment is there. They're man. You watch the Olympics, like Canada versus U.S. Man, women's hockey. Oh, they're going. They're going at it.
It's a rivalry. So, that's probably the only rivalry right now.
And they're going at it, and it's entertaining. And why aren't these women getting paid to do this?
Yeah.
They're beating the tar out of their body just like you and I did when we played.
Yeah.
So why aren't they getting paid?
Something going on.
Well, no, they're going to get there. They just got to grow the fan base, grow all that, and they're going to get there. They're going to get there. It's going to take some time. Hopefully they're patient, but I guess in today's day and age, with everything going on, it's probably going to speed up, which is good for them. But they'll get there.
Yeah,
they're going to get there, and it's going to be awesome for the game. Awesome for the game.
I'm going to talk to you about this one. So the parents are all freaking out now because of that neck injury, and they're all protecting their kids even more. They're buying them more protective gear than before. And I just think the parents are going a little overboard with it.
Oh, Jocko, how many games of hockey do you think you've played?
A few thousand. I would everything, maybe a few thousand. I don't know. It's like 1,000 or something, maybe. With all, I don't know.
Well, I know in my lifetime, I'm over 1,000 games played.
Like real games, or with the shinnies and everything, or you like talking everything?
Doesn't matter. It's a hockey.
Probably like around 2,000, maybe.
I would say that. I would say 2,000 or 3,000 games
at least. Yeah.
I've never seen that or heard of that in my life.
First of all, they don't understand that it's going to take a great strength for someone to jump up that high. And the average kid out there will not be able to, first of all, jump that high. So there's nothing to freak out about. But they want to put so much equipment on them now. It's more than ever before, like everything. It's like you should.
Jack.
People are freaking out.
Jack, I've never seen an incident like that in my life. It's Jack, to me. This is I got hit by lightning. So I'm never going outside in the rain incident.
Yeah.
That to me, that's what it comes down to. It's not happening again. That was not a, I can give you my opinion on what happened. I can do a lot of stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that. The guy got kicked in the throat.
But the guy jumped. Like, an average kid out there is not going to be able to jump that high.
The guy kicked him in the throat.
Yeah.
He did not. There's no way. In my mind, I watched that. I don't know. I didn't really watch it fully because it was, not really my thing. But I watched the incident happen, and I'm like, man, there's no way that happens. If it's, there's no way. And I wouldn't. Yeah, man. To me, I would not. Nah, man. I played so many hockey games to see. I talked to my father-in-law on it, and he's like, "Yeah, one time I got cut on my neck. And he's like, a skate came up, and that was back when, back in the, probably 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s he was playing. And he's like, yeah, a skate came up and it cut my neck. And he's like, yeah, I had a lot of blood and whatever. But he's like, yeah, nothing major. He's like, I don't understand how that happens. Mm-hmm. So can a guy get hit in the neck with a skate? For sure. Do you think that patch they put on there, like, what are you going to wear, a balaclava? Man, I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous. And, if we saw 10 guys in a year go down, and I know you don't ever want to see that, but it's never happened. So why are we panicking on this situation?
It's always like that. They panic.
The guy legitimately jumped up and kicked a guy in the neck, and whatever happens to him, or however they...
I heard that he had a martial arts background. Is what I heard someone tell me.
You know what? You can hear everything you want to hear. I don't want to go into speculation because there's tons of speculation in life, and I don't want to go down that road. Yeah. But either way, it was pretty certain that the guy extended his leg in what he did.
Yeah,
and it happened. So whether it's accident, whether it's he decided he was going to do it and kick him in the head, and caught him somewhere different. It doesn't really matter. It's the first time we've seen this.
Yeah.
So even if this has happened 5 times in the course of 100 years, are we really going to go down that road?
Yeah. My next prediction is I think if they're going to ban slap shots, if someone does something with a slap shot where he hits a guy in the face or something like that, the next thing you know, they're going to ban slap shots. I mean, anything's possible. It just takes something to happen for them to react. That's what way I see it is.
But, Jacko, that's the life that we live.
Yeah.
You look at where we lived in COVID, and we lived in, it's going to kill us all. I'm pretty sure the flu killed a lot of people, but it didn't, it didn't do what they were telling us it was going to do.
Yeah.
So, a guy got cut in the neck with a skate. Everybody's neck's going to get cut off.
That's what everybody's freaking out.
Everything's going to happen. So it's just it's just one of those things where there's so much controversy right now. It's an easy world for the TV to predict what's going to happen, and then we just all buy in and just do it.
No. I mean, if the next one would be slap shots or body checking. If they do the body checking, someone gets hurt really seriously where he gets serious, they might even stop body checking. And then if someone shoots or hits somebody in the face or something, the next thing they're going to ban the sticks. Maybe they'll ban composite.
Well, Jacko, look at the NFL with post concussion syndrome. Mm-hmm. What they did with their QBs, protecting their quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's like, well, okay, so he's untouchable. So so why am I rushing the quarterback? I can't hit him.
Yeah.
So we're altering these games based on what we're seeing and what we're learning. But when you play a sport or when you do anything in life, it's like extreme dirt biking where they're doing the X Games and they're doing the flips. Mm-hmm. Well, when you go into that, you understand that you might fail and land on your head and die. It's part of the game. If you don't want to take on that risk, don't do the sport.
Don't do it. Exactly. There is a risk in sport.
If you're not willing to take on the risk, don't do the sport.
Yeah.
Why do we have to change it to make more people willing to play the sport? When it's like, no, this is what we do. We can create another league that is this way.
Yeah.
Or we can just leave it the same.
Yeah. There's going to be a neck guard rule now. What do you think? Is going to happen in the NHL or no?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say they're gonna go down that road.
Yeah.
I think I don't agree with it. your jugular, it's on the upper side of your neck. So like I said, you'd have to wear a balaclava covering your chin, because if not, your neck guard's going to ride low, and those guys aren't going to like it, so they're going to ride low, which still exposes your jugular. So there's no protection there.
Next thing you know is they're going to wear astronaut suits to play.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me, man.
No, I think so. A full bubble, like a real bubble, like an astronaut bubble. I could see it happening.
We already did it in the AJHL here.
No, I'm not talking cage and helmet. I'm talking an actual, looks like an astronaut bubble, where it covers you completely.
Either way, Jacko, it's not right.
No.
It's not right what they did. No, there is zero reason to go to a bubble in junior hockey. It's you watch those games, it's terrible.
Honestly, what I think, Jason, from what I'm seeing, okay, so I see these highlights come on my feed, and what I see today, compared to when we played, and we used to be rough hockey, there's no respect for the players. There's a lot of cheap shots that happen because there's no fighting anymore.
Fight.
Yeah.
But Jack, that's the reason. That's exactly the reason.
Yeah.
There's not a heavyweight sitting there that's like, okay, you speared my buddy, and now you got to deal with me.
But they don't have that anymore. They get rid of it. That's the problem. So now you got a guy, the other day, he was on top of me, cross-checked him in the neck like a push-up position, and nothing, it's just they got one game for it, but he could have broken the guy's neck. There's no respect.
But Jack, if you did that back when we played,
I'd have to watch my back for the whole year.
It's not the heavyweight that's coming from this team. It's the heavyweight that's coming from every team that I play against for the rest of the year. Because it's like, nope, that's not cool, buds. They didn't care whether you cheap-shotted me in Bonnyville or Drayton. They didn't care about that.
No.
It was just like, we heard you did this to this guy, you're going to pay a price again tonight.
Yeah.
Because there was a respect in the game with that. And that's where I'm saying, I believe within 10 years, there's going to be another league started that's going to go back to regular hockey. I'm not talking 1980s where there's a lot of scraps, a lot of everything. It's still going to be extremely skilled, everything, but they're going to bring back in the element of it's going to be a controlled game.
Yeah.
Not by the referees. We do this on the ice. The referees just make sure it's cordial.
It could happen. I think they
Mark my word. That's going to come back.
They can do it. It's just a lot of people are fed up with the new rules and all that. I don't like it, and everybody's got to wear a visor and all that stuff.
I'm not opposed to a visor. Protect your eyes. Yeah, I'm good with that. I don't mind the visor rule, half visor rule.
But don't make it mandatory.
You know what? I would be impartial on that one.
Let the guys choose.
Well, I would personally, I would let them choose. Yeah. But as a say I was an owner on a team, I would absolutely say, hey, everybody's got a half visor.
They still can get injured, even with a visor, still getting the stick near the eyes. Happens all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. But I don't disagree with that. But I'm just saying that's a minimal risk.
Look at the back in the 70s and 60s and 50s. There wasn't too many sticks in the head as there's today. And they had no head protection.
But what causes that, Jack?
There was respect.
When everybody's got head protection, you don't care where your stick goes because it just bounces off.
Yeah.
Where back then, if your stick came up, you clip the guy in the chin, you're throwing knuckles.
Yeah. It's not happening anymore.
Not happening anymore. No.
Well, the guy who runs the league has never played. That's a problem. The guys who run this whole hockey, some of these people have never played hockey. They don't have a clue.
Well, you know what? And it is what it is. I didn't see a need for a change. I mean, they're obviously changes should have happened. Like I love the no 2-line pass. I love them opening up the game.
That's fine.
I would love them to go to an Olympic sized rink. That would be awesome. All the other rules they put in, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I like the fact that if you ice the puck, I love that rule. Actually, I love that rule. That's my.
You got to keep them on the ice.
You got to keep them on the ice, and as the offensive team, you get to decide what side of the ice the faceoff goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a beautiful rule. I love that rule.
But bring the blue lines, bring the mid zone a little bit back bigger.
Like
the mid zone's too small.
Why?
Well, a lot of collisions.
Well, I don't care about that.
But that's what's that's what's happening. There's a lot of concussions and all that. There's a lot of collisions in the middle of the ice. I think from not having the red line.
But Jack, to me, it's just keep your head up.
Yeah, but they're not doing that. They crisscross in every direction.
Put in the game, they're not. But if you went back to a little bit more old school, like I'm not saying go back to the way we played because that was a different game. I'm just saying go a bit more back, but don't eliminate the stuff that makes the game, so to speak.
Yeah, but you can't defend anymore. You can't really hold a guy anymore. It's done. Like they don't allow it. It's like those things are gone.
You can't do anything anymore.
No. A lot of players I talk to, they don't like the red line out. They want it back. And they say it's causing too much speed where they're colliding. There's just no control in the mid zone. I think they got to go bigger mid zone. The offense and defense zones, I think, got to go 60. I think they're 60 feet. Now they're 62 feet. It's a big difference. I think 4 feet less would be better. More scoring. Less room behind the net.
It's going to change the game a lot.
Yeah. No, not much room behind the net is better. More pucks will pop out.
More pucks will pop out. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Pop that back. Shrinking the ozone, I don't disagree with that. I'm kind of impartial to that. If you go to an Olympic-sized rink where you're wider, not longer, beautiful.
But they're not going to do that. There's too many seats to be taken out. They'll lose a lot of money.
But are you there to make the game better? Are they making decisions for seats?
It's all about money. Everything's about money. It doesn't matter.
Then charge $20 more.
It's already expensive as it is to go.
But they're still full.
Those are corporates buying tickets.
To watch Cinderella games.
Those are corporates buying. They can't. Average family cannot take their kids to a hockey game. It's just too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's out of the price range. Depending what state you are. Depending where you are, though. Some tickets are cheaper than.
Outside of Arizona, where for $20 you get a beer and a hot dog, and you walk into the game and it's empty.
You can't even get into the parking lot for that in LA. You can't even get into the parking lot. It's very different now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. You can't even get into the parking lot. What you're telling me in Arizona, you can buy a ticket and a beer and a hot dog for $20. Not in LA. You're not even entering. They're going to make you get out, turn back your car, and get out of the parking lot for that if you pay.
Jocko, you could fly your family, rent a hotel room, go to a hockey game, sleep overnight in that hotel room you entered, and go back to LA for cheaper than watching the LA Kings play right now.
Absolutely. It's like almost like $1,000 if you can have good seats. It can run you like $800 to $1,000 for a family of 4 with food and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not cheap, and it's very different.
It's a money game.
Yeah.
It's a money game, and don't get me wrong, they're making their money, and they should. And whatever. I don't know what that. I've never looked into basketball. We went to a baseball game oh, geez, lots of years ago when Nate was a kid and we were down there training with you with Nate. You know, and that was like $300 for me, Lynn's, Nader and Cammie, and Glenn and Shelley, the mother and father-in-law.
That's a lot for baseball.
Well, $300 for 6 of us, that's not bad.
It's different. Yeah. Everything's gone up. I mean, the ticket prices have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. My channel.
Oh, anytime, Jocko. I love chatting.
Yeah, same here. Enjoy your night. Thank you so much.
Yes, you too.